Hey everybody, I'm Blake, and with me today is Aaron. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello everybody, my name's Aaron.
Alright, we're playing Rocket League. We're doing this through the PlayStation 4, so this is the best way for us to broadcast our thoughts and our experience through the MEPS, Military Entrance Processing Station. So if you clicked on this video, you most likely have an interest in joining the military, and this is your very first stop before going to your basic training. So me and him we're in the Air Force, currently almost a year under our belt, so we can talk a little bit about MEPS for you guys and tell you what to expect. However, most of the procedures throughout the day will be, consolidated, so it won't be branch specific until the end of the day after you've done and they say that you're good to go and you're qualified. That's when you speak with your liaison, whether it be Marine Corps, Army, Navy, or Air Force, or even the Coast Guard. Let's not forget them. Is when you can pick out a job and you can swear in, and that's when they give your ship date. So, starting off, you've probably already talked to your recruiter, and you've signed a lot of documents. You've already told them that you haven't done any. Yeah, almost everything. So any medical, I'll give you some advice. Any medical paperwork that you have, if it's documented, you most likely should give it to them.
Even if it was a sick day.
Yeah, I mean, like, for me, I'll give you some examples. When I was a kid, I had slight depression, but that was when I was going through puberty, so it wasn't that uncommon. They had to know that. I was afraid that would, for some reason, not allow me to join the military. I had ADD. Now, this is the case for a lot of people, actually, who want to join. Is people have ADD. I had attention deficit disorder. I couldn't focus in school. I got off of it my senior year. My recruiter told me I had to be off of it for another year, so I waited after high school, after I graduated, to join. And then I hurt my knee a month prior before leaving out for basic training. I'll go into a little bit more detail about that in a few minutes. But once you've filled out all your paperwork and you've told your recruiter what you have, then they will give you a ride, or you choose to drive to the Military Entrance Processing Station. So for us, we went to Louisville. We were born in Kentucky, so Louisville is the closest MEPS station. They will take you not straight there. They will take you to a hotel. It's free. You're going to sign in. You get a complimentary meal, dinner, and then you wake up the next day around 4 a.m., really early. Then you get some breakfast and you head out. So, Aaron, go ahead and give them your experience. Talk about MEPS through your eyes when you were going through. What can these people who are watching this video, what can they expect?
Well, I mean, of course, I would say the first nerve is like when you first get to that hotel, like Blake said, you're just thinking like, finally getting something started in my life. Like, or that's how I did. Because I went to MEPS like pretty much, I want to say straight out of high school, but I waited about half a year to actually join from out of high school.
Mm-hmm.
But to start things off, you wake up 4 in the morning, you get your breakfast, and you just don't eat a whole lot, but you want to eat enough to make it last for the day, because you're going to be doing MEPS processing for a long while.
Yeah, MEPS, when you wake up at 4 a.m., you will probably leave and get there around 5 or 5:45. And most of the day is just sitting down and waiting. So once you walk in, it's probably going to be like one of those high security areas for us that, make sure you don't bring any knives, or alcohol, tobacco. That's off limits. Recruiters stress that a lot. So by the time you get there, we had a guy bring a pocket knife, and they were like, "You got to get rid of it, hide it at least." So he hid it under a trash can outside. But when you get in there, they're gonna make you pull up your pants, wear a belt. I mean, for me, I wasn't sagging by any means, because I don't ever sag. But my pants, I was wearing a tight fitting shirt, and you could see the top part of my underwear, and they were like, "You need to pull your pants up." And I was like, "That's just, I mean, I don't have a belt, and this is as far as they go." And they're like, "Well, tuck your shirt in." So just be prepared for that.
Well, I remember they made all of us take our shirts in. I didn't wear a belt because like the metal detectors and stuff. And
It's too much. Yeah, too much work.
If the metal belt was like really all you had on you, then yeah, it's kind of like going through airport security. You got to pray to God you don't have any piece of metal on you.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's try it again. Take this off this time. Take off a watch.
Yeah, take off your shoes, take off this, take off that. Walk through now. But anyways, so then I remember you went upstairs and they gave you this room where you put all your stuff in and put every last bit of your stuff in.
Yeah, so like if you brought a bag to stay in, because of the overnight hotel, because that's where they tell you to take a shower. So if you have a place for your clothes, like a backpack or a duffel bag, they allow you to place it somewhere secure, somewhat. So MEPS, this is where they're checking you over physically and mentally. Then after you get your name tag, you go see your liaison. They direct you, tell you exactly where to go. So you won't be lost by any means, because after you get done with one thing, they just look at your folder and they'll tell you exactly where you got to go next. So
How they did me, they actually signed us in groups. They put like three to four people in a group, and then they gave you a list of what stuff you need to get done for the day,
mm-hmm.
and then you just follow that list until the end. After you get the list completed, you go back to liaison. So that was my experience of that.
So the little things that they check over, they're going to be drawing blood. They need your blood, so you better get over your fear of needles. They're going to be checking your eyesight, your hearing. Eyesight wise, it's just your normal pee in a cup drug test, and you got to be comfortable with nudity, honestly, because they're going to be watching you when you do when you piss in your cup. They want you to be honest.
You gotta do the physical tests with like the
Yep.
craft
Yeah, we'll get into that.
Alright.
So after you do your normal eye test, your hearing test, they'll bring you probably into a soundproof room. Tell you they'll put headphones on you, and they'll say, "All right, if you hear a noise, click the button." Yeah, here's your advice for that if you're hard hearing. If you think you hear something, press the button. I mean, yeah, if you're like, was that a noise? Because there will be times where it's really, really hard to hear. So you won't, you're like, I just won't press it this time. Do yourself a favor and press it, so they don't think you're fucking deaf. They're gonna tell you, oh, did you know you're deaf in the left ear? Oh no, I didn't hear anything. Well, yeah, should have clicked something. But for some people, not for my case. Or did you take the ASVAB there, Aaron?
No.
Okay.
Wait, yes I did.
Yeah. So
I didn't score high enough for the first time.
Yeah. So myself included, I didn't score high enough for the ASVAB the first time, but the second or third time I took it, I scored high enough, and I didn't have to take the ASVAB there at MEPS. Some of you may have to if you have not taken it yet. So that
Or you just didn't score high enough for
the first time around, yeah,
or even the career field you want.
right.
But yeah. So then they'll do your, after they do your hearing, they'll do your eye exam.
I already said that.
Or that's how you get
So they're also checking your blood pressure, and I'm looking off a site right now to kind of jog my memory. First thing, blood pressure. They're checking your heart rate. You know, they're gonna make sure you're not colorblind. Because being colorblind can restrict you from certain career fields. Like if you're a pilot, if you want to be a pilot, you got to be able to see all colors, 20/20 vision. In my career field, you can't be colorblind. Then they check your depth perception, and I'll tell you what, the depth perception test actually was pretty difficult. You look through the what do you call those little things you look through? You look through, yeah, like a magnifying glass kind of deal. But they're like, all right, which one is the dark circle? And you're like, oh, this test is gonna be easy. No, they all look the same. So they show you a big like square full of like tiny circles, and you gotta point out which circles are darker than the others. You gotta be like line number 1, number 2, line number 2, number 4.
Yeah, I remember that now. I had to do that on my driver's test.
They're gonna breathalyze you.
Yeah.
Make sure you weren't drinking any alcohol.
If you're underage, don't do it.
Yeah, if you're underage and they catch that you have alcohol in your breath, you're done right there. So urine and blood tests, like I said, going over that again. Alright, so then like one of the biggest parts, and this is what a lot of the guys remember, and I believe they do the same thing with females. So I'm sorry if this is a biased video. I can't speak for females because I don't know what they went through. But for the guys, for example, they like same with you, how you were talking about they split you up in a group. I was in a group myself. They put you in this room. For us, it was a big open white room, and it was really cold too. So and they said once you get in there, go ahead and strip down just to your underwear. So you took everything off, your shirt, socks, shoes, and you were literally just in your underwear, sitting down with complete strangers. It's really awkward at first. Yeah, it's really awkward at first, but then, I mean, when you go through basic and you're showering with 40 other dudes, it's, you get used to it.
You just learn to accept and carry on. Yeah, you sit in a room with about 4 or 5 dudes. Well, it was 4 or 5 dudes when you,
It was like 20 for me.
Huh?
It was like around 20 people in the room I was in.
Really?
Yeah, it was like 20 people.
Dang.
Yeah, we filled up the benches. So they'll make you line up. The first thing that they're likely going to do is get your height, weight. They're going to get your neck size, get your waist size, Make sure you meet those qualifications for your specific branch. At the time, I must have weighed like, when I first weighed in, I probably weighed around 140.
Yep, I was at 135.
I think I was about 5'10". I was like 5'10", 140 or something like that. Now, 1 year later, I'm about 6 foot and near 200 pounds.
Yeah, I'm about 5'10", I'm about 170,
So, yeah. Nope. So after they get your measurements and whatnot, they're going to check your range of motion. So they'll make you do calf raises. They'll make you touch your fingers together. Like they'll have your thumbs meet each finger over and over again. Make sure all your finger joints are good. Your dexterity. So a lot of times they'll be like, do it with force, do it quick. We want to make sure you're not faking. So you'll be on one leg, and they'll tell you with the other leg, shoot your leg out, shoot your heel out, have your toes pointed up and shoot it out in front of you. Just do your best at that. So for me, when the very first time I did MEPS, I went through MEPS about 4 times because they can send you away. The first time I did MEPS, I didn't swear in because I had ADD, and they were like, well, you got to get this fixed. So I waited, and I waited, and I waited, and then I went the second time, and I talked to somebody. I talked to a consul. That's what they call them there. It's basically they ask you a lot of questions, saying they get very in detail. Don't be a smart ass and just answer the questions because they will be, just to get your reaction. So for them, they were like, when was the last time you had a girlfriend? And that's a personal question, but you still got to answer that because they don't really care about the answer. They want to see how you react for someone that has a deficient attention deficit disorder. So for a disorder, they need to figure out if anything's wrong with you. And they were like, when's the last time you had a girlfriend? And I was like, I don't know, my sophomore year. And they was like, why? And they're like, why is that? Do you not like girls? And I was like, no, I like girls. And they're like, then how come you don't have a girlfriend? And I'm like, I'm busy.
Yeah. I used to have ADD as well, but I've been on my medicine, I think like 5 or 6 years before.
That's why they didn't test you, is because you have clear validation that proves that you're okay, you're stable without taking the medication. Since I was only off the medication for 1 year, I guess my graduation diploma wasn't enough. But it really isn't, because senior year is a bullshit year anyway. So after if you do talk to a consul, that's your basic experience. I had a guy I went with. He had to be a smart ass to the girl. He's like, he told her, he's like, how do you feel knowing that my career, my life is in your hands right now? Do you feel special? And he didn't get in because she didn't approve. And I was like, well, maybe if you didn't say that.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of stuff in MEPS that can just get you disqualified just like that.
Yeah. But don't worry. Yeah, don't worry. As long as you've been honest, and your recruiters are doing the best they can to get you in. They're not gonna try and nickel and dime you and get what they need. However, some recruiters are like that, so make sure you try and have a good one. They just want you in.
If you don't like the one that's close to you, just find another. They're always a phone call away.
Yeah. So while you're still in the room in your underwear with other men, they are going to make you do the infamous duck walk. Yeah, so that's something that a lot of people remember the most, and it's a really awkward form of movement. You basically squat down, all the way down, and you're basically walking while your hips are below your knees.
I hate that thing.
That's where, and you only do it on like, you go from heel to toe. That's what they want you to do. That checks your full range of motion. Then after that, they make you drop to your knees. So this is the one point I was actually scared of the most the first time. Not that hard. They make you drop on hardwood or hard concrete floor. Basically from where you're in the duck walk position, squatted down, and they'll just make you, drop straight to your knees with force. Wasn't that hard the first time, but before I was about to ship out, my knee problems, I was scared that it was gonna hurt, but I just bit the bullet on that one. And then after they check that and they check your full range of movement, that's when this is the part I dreaded the most. They take you into a room with another doctor, and yeah, 3 doctors. There's always going to be more than just you and the single doctor there for accountability reasons. Make sure he wasn't like groping you or anything. But that's where he's like, my guy was like, have you ever had a test like this before? He's like, I know what's about to happen. And I was like, yeah, no, I've never had this test before. So what he did was like, he's like, all right, go ahead and drop your underwear, and that's where they grab. It's a physical. If you're an athlete, you may know this. They'll tell you to turn your head and cough. Go to the other direction, cough. They'll tell you to turn around, bend over, and spread your cheeks. This is they're checking your prostate there, and then after that, they just tell you to, all right, you can pull up your underwear, wash your hands, and you can be on your way. You can get clothed and head out. For females, I can't really speak too much on that. I think they do something similar with females. They this is just what a friend told me, is like they took her into a room and like they took a cotton swab, and you can imagine. Yeah, I'll just leave it there. But after that, you get clothed, you head out, and at that point, you pretty much done the main stuff. Like at that point, it's already, the day's almost over, and by almost over, I mean it's what it's like. No, it's like 10 o'clock. It's like 10 o'clock, because by that time they tell you, all right, we'll go get lunch. They give you a complimentary lunch, and if there's anything else that you need to do, like they'll give it a little bit of time. You're basically hurrying up and waiting. They're checking to make sure to see what jobs you're qualified for, and you speak with your liaison. You pick out your top 8 jobs. Well, that's at least for us. I don't know how it works for the Army. The other branches. I imagine it works the same. But
I remember I had to do a little bit more stuff afterwards, because it was just like I was the last one to do that last portion, and because they kept asking me questions about other stuff in my life. because it wasn't on that first time going to MEPS, so they were make sure I was, because like I said, I used to be on ADD, but I was off of it for 5-6 years, so they said they wouldn't worry about that. But one thing they did worry about was my reading comprehension. And I do have a bad and like they make you, if you have a really bad reading comprehension, they make you write this paragraph, and there's a lot of, I call them still big words in the paragraph, and they want you to try your best by yourself, try to sound all the words out with no problem. I actually got 2 of the words wrong, but he still let me go. So
Yeah, it doesn't really matter what you get on your ASVAB score, let me tell you.
yeah.
There are some people I know that have gotten a 99, and you know, I got a 62 on my ASVAB. We all qualify to be idiots.
32 on mine.
Yeah, see? We're all idiots. But
You're wondering how I got in Air Force is because of my electronic score. My average score didn't make it to Air Force, but my electronic score did.
so after you've picked out your job and you're happy with what you got, that's when you take the oath of enlistment. And this is I'd say your very first step in joining the military, after MEPS, of course. So they'll bring you into a nice room. An officer will take the podium. And they'll
And she'll know every PowerPoint slide and read it off without even looking at the PowerPoint.
yeah, they've done this so many times they probably don't even have to look at the oath of enlistment. But that's when they tell you to raise your right hand, and they're like, all right, repeat after me. Yep. So after the oath of enlistment, I mean, you can have your family there. For me, I had my parents and my sister there. So you can have your whole family there, because it's a really proud moment. I definitely, if you have family, relatives, friends that can make it there, have someone there for you, because this is a big step. Just like getting a diploma from high school, you know, this is your first step, really.
Yeah, my first time going through MEPS, I didn't have no one there. No one. Nada. And because honestly, my recruiter told me I was not going to, like, swear in that day. So I ain't even bothered telling my family.
Yeah, like I said, I sworn for the first time, my third time going to MEPS. Which means I went to a hotel 3 times, had 3 free meals. God, I know, I'm just so spoiled, right?
Yeah,
The torture.
3 full times of
Waking up early. Yeah, well, no, I didn't have to do the physical 3 times.
Oh, really?
No, if you've done it within a certain amount of time, you don't have to do it again. The only reason why I did it, I only did it twice. The very first time, and then the second time, which was almost a full year. And I think it was a full year. That's why they had me do it a second time, because it's been a full year from the first time I took it. Yeah. So, I mean, if you go again, they're not going to make you go through all that again. Really, the third time I went, it was literally, I was in and out. Like, I just went there, talked to a liaison, and I was out. I remember one time, the fourth time I went, I didn't have to go to the hotel, because my recruiter said, all right, all you need to do is just go in there at any time and let them know that what's for my situation. I just had to talk to my liaison for like 1 minute. I had to pick out a job or something like that. So my dad had to give me a ride there, and we go there and we find out that it's closed. So my dad was really, really pissed off because he had to take off. He was, out. He went to work late because he did this for me, and my recruiter wasn't aware that it was closed that day, so she failed on that part. But after you've completed the oath of enlistment, you do it 3 total times. The first time when you swear in, then that's when you go home with your family and whatnot, and you basically wait for the day you ship out. In some rare cases, you may ship out that day. If you've taken the ASVAB, picked a job, you may leave that day. And that's like, I've never heard of that, but rare, very rare. Get your ship out day. You go to MEPS the day before you ship out, and that's when you take your second oath of enlistment. From that point, you were getting paid by the military. You go to basic training, and you do the courses, and by the time you graduate basic training, you take the oath of enlistment one final time, your third time, and that is when you are officially, even though you're technically getting paid by the military, I just don't like it when people, like Marines, for example, when I see it all the time, when someone swears in, they're like, oh, officially a Marine. No, you're not officially a Marine. You just sworn for the first time. That doesn't make you a Marine. Just like it didn't make me an airman. Just like it didn't make my friends soldiers. You don't earn that title until you've completed basic training, because so many people wash out of basic training, which is, for me, I'm just like, how do you fucking fell out of basic training? You gotta be a pussy.
Okay.
And in blunt terms, you either gotta be stupid or a pussy to fail out of basic training. In literal blunt terms. Because I know, for instance, the Marines, they don't get called Marines until they finish the Crucible, which is like, I think like a whole weekend of like hell. If I'm not mistaken. I'm sorry if I butchered that. If a Marine is watching this, I'm sorry. I mean, airmen, we're not called airmen until the day we graduate.
Is that the coin ceremony?
Yeah, you get coined in airman. You get your airman's coin. Sailors, I'd say the same thing. But the thing is, for Army basic training, they call you a private right away. Come here, private. Do push-ups, private. This and that. They don't have any type of like thing to call you. They just call you private. But same with them. I don't think you're a soldier, a Marine, an airman, a sailor, or a Coast Guardsman until you've completed your basic training course. So with that, have I missed anything covering MEPS, Aaron?
That was mainly it. I mean, besides, just be careful what you eat in the morning of MEPS.
Yeah. Go ahead and tell them the story.
Well, like example, I can't remember what all science like that orange juice has in contents, but I had a good friend.
Has vitamin D.
Was a friend. Well, it's vitamin D, yeah, but there's something like it makes it pop something when you do your
piss test. Yeah.
And he had a friend, and he wanted to join the Marines so bad. I mean, this dude was a full-on Marine, full-on Marine. Well, so he got the recruiter. He got his MEPS day. He went to MEPS, but the morning of, he drank like 2 cups of orange juice. Well, later on throughout the day, when he did his pee test, like it popped for something. I can't remember what.
Yeah, his piss test spiked.
Oh, it spiked?
Yeah. It spiked on his piss test, and then they were like, dude, you can't join, because they thought he was going to have a fucking heart attack right then and there.
Right. So, yeah. So they disqualified him from the Marines, and now he's in the Army somewhere.
Yeah. Biggest shit talker. Love the Marines. I remember hearing a story in class where he was like, the Marines are the best branch, and here's the reason why, yada, yada, yada. And now he's in the...
Colonel shut down.
Yeah.
From JLTC.
Yeah, and then He's in the Army now, talking shit.
But be careful what you eat. That's why I said earlier, don't make yourself full, but eat enough to get you by the day.
Yeah. Don't eat a whole lot of bacon either. I mean, don't get your cholesterol pumping by the time you get there. There's your tip.
And like Blake said, try not to be nervous. Just be honest with them. It's definitely, if it's your first time going, it's definitely a little bit nervous because you're just looking around and you're seeing everyone that think about joining the military in general.
But I mean, you know, in my case and in Aaron's case, if you're shipping out soon and you know you're about to leave, the people that are in your like Air Force group, your Marine group, Army group, whatever, like for us, I got on the plane with 2 people, a male and a female, and that guy that was sitting right next to me on the plane turned out he was in the same flight as me. So I saw him for like the 2.5 months I was there. And the female, she was in my sister flight, so I saw her a lot too. Same case for you.
I had 6 people to go to Air Force base training with, and 4 of the 6 was actually in my flight.
So yeah, if you know you're leaving with somebody, definitely take the chance and opportunity to get to know them right then and there. Because if they're in your squadron, your platoon, or whatever, you know, that's just one more person that you know and that you can befriend while you're in basic training to help you out.
I also met 3 more people that was in my flight, and I met them on the second flight to basic training because we took 2 flights.
Mm-hmm.
Down to basic training, and I met 2 people from there, and one I actually sat right next to.
But I don't have much else to say, so if you've stuck with us this long and you watched the whole video, I just want to say thank you for your interest. If you're truly wanting to join the military, and maybe you've already taken the oath of enlistment, but if you soon to be taking the oath, you know, we both want to say thank you for your service, because, you know, it's a big step, joining the military. Yeah. It won't go unnoticed.
Not everyone gets this opportunity. So.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that, I mean, ever since high school I wanted to join the Air Force, and knowing how close it came from me not getting it, being able to join, makes me appreciate where I'm at, you know, just a little bit more. So, and you're volunteering to step up and join the forces. Save the country. We're American heroes. Woo!
So if you have any questions for us, please leave something down in the comments if you're still here. If there's anything we didn't cover, go ahead and leave a comment for it. I'll be checking throughout this week, next week, and so beyond that, thanks for watching.
Yeah, thanks. And if you got any more questions for us, let us know on our YouTube channel, and we'll get back with you. Maybe we'll make another video. Till next time, guys. Peace out.